Eustass Kid's Devil Fruit, the Jiki no Mi, Magnet Fruit, is a powerful paramecia-type fruit that grants him control over magnetism. This ability allows Kid to attract, repel, and manipulate metallic objects at will, giving him an advantage in combat, especially against foes wielding metal weapons or surrounded by metallic objects. Abilities of the Jiki no Mi Magnetism Manipulation. Kid's core ability is controlling magnetism. He can pull or push metal objects toward or away from himself, letting him gather metal debris around him, or hurl it as projectiles. This lets him form massive, makeshift weapons or shields in an instant. Metal constructs. Using his magnetism, Kid can assemble collected metal into various shapes, such as giant metal arms, or other massive constructs that he uses for attacks and defense. One of his signature moves involves forming a colossal metal arm to amplify the force of his punches, making him dangerous in close-range combat. Repulsion. Kid can also push metal away, which helps him disrupt enemy attacks or fling collected metal projectiles from a distance. This magnetic push makes him versatile, enabling long-range attacks with high impact. Awakened abilities. Once awakened, the Jiki no Mi's powers evolve, allowing Kid to manipulate magnetism on a grander scale and apply it to new techniques, such as Magnetic Core. Kid creates a massive magnetic sphere, which draws in all surrounding metal to form a huge ball of metal debris. He can wield this sphere as a weapon, smash it against foes, or even break it into smaller parts to use strategically. Magnet Shift. Kid can polarize his opponents or their metal weapons, causing them to repel or attract each other, which is effective for disrupting enemy formations and creating openings in their defenses. Electro Shatter. This technique channels an electric current through his magnetic constructs, sending a shockwave of electricity to anyone in contact with the metal. It adds an extra layer of damage, especially effective against large groups or heavily armored foes. With these abilities, the Jiki no Mi positions Kid as a powerful and unpredictable force, particularly effective in environments where metal is abundant. The fruit's abilities are a perfect match for his brash, aggressive combat style, making Kid a formidable and adaptable fighter in the unpredictable world of One Piece. Trafalgar Law's Devil Fruit, the Ope no Mi, Op Fruit, is a paramecia-type fruit that grants him the power to create and manipulate rooms, spherical areas within which he has near-total control over the matter, space, and even people within that zone. Known as the Ultimate Surgeon, Law's abilities allow him to perform miraculous, and often deadly, operations, making this devil fruit one of the most versatile and coveted in the world of One Piece. Abilities of the Ope no Mi Room Creation. Law can create a room, an invisible spherical area in which he can freely manipulate objects and living beings. This room is the basis of all his techniques and expands with his skill and mastery over the fruit. Shambles. Law can swap the positions of objects, including people, within his room. He uses this to disorient opponents, redirect attacks, or perform rapid movements across the battlefield. Tact. Law can use his powers to lift objects or throw them within his room, making it seem as though objects are levitating. This technique is useful for defense, offense, or even creating a makeshift weapon. Scan. Within the room, Law can detect and identify objects, including living beings, and can even locate specific items like keys or weapons, helping him in stealth missions and infiltration. Amputate. One of Law's most notable techniques, Amputate allows him to cut objects, limbs, or even people within his room without causing them harm. The parts remain intact, allowing him to move them or immobilize enemies temporarily. Countershock. Law uses his powers to generate an electric shock on his target, delivering a high-voltage attack, often used to subdue or injure enemies. Special techniques. The Ope no Mi also grants Law access to unique abilities. Mise. Law can remove a target's heart without harming them, encapsulating it in a glass-like cube that keeps them alive. By manipulating this heart, Law can effectively control or pressure his opponents. Gamma Knife. A highly destructive attack where Law creates a concentrated high-frequency energy blade that damages internal organs without leaving external wounds. This move is lethal to most targets as it attacks vital organs directly. Radio Knife. A variation of Amputate. This technique lets Law make cuts that prevent objects from being reattached. This is especially useful against durable or regenerating opponents. Awakening and Advanced Techniques. Upon awakening, Law gains an even greater range for his room and can extend his abilities in powerful, concentrated ways. His awakened techniques include K-Room. Law creates a room specifically around his sword, allowing him to infuse it with his abilities. This lets his sword phase through physical matter, and even bypass external defenses. Shock Wheeler. By stabbing his opponent with a sword infused with K-Room, Law sends an electrical shockwave through their body, causing massive internal damage. Puncture Willa, a devastating attack in which Law drives his sword deep into his target, releasing a shockwave that travels far below the surface, creating significant internal destruction. The Ultimate Surgery and the Immortality Operation. The Op no Mi is also rumored to grant the Immortality Operation, a legendary procedure that can bestow immortality on someone at the cost of the user's life. This makes the fruit exceptionally valuable and one of the most sought after in the world of One Piece. Donquixote Doflamingo possesses the Ito no Mi, string fruit, a paramecia-type devil fruit that grants him the ability to create and control strings. These strings are razor-sharp, incredibly durable, and highly versatile, allowing him to use them both offensively and defensively. With masterful skill, Doflamingo has developed a range of techniques that make his strings some of the deadliest weapons in the One Piece world. Abilities of the Ito no Mi string manipulation. Doflamingo can create and control strings at will, which he can use for a variety of purposes. The strings are often invisible to the naked eye, making them difficult for enemies to detect until it's too late. Parasite. One of Doflamingo's most terrifying techniques, Parasite allows him to attach strings to a target and control their movements like a puppet. This power lets him take control of multiple people at once, forcing them to fight each other or obey his commands against their will. 5-color string, Go Shikido. Doflamingo forms 5 strings between his fingers and uses them as a cutting weapon. These strings are strong and sharp enough to slice through stone, steel, and even flesh with ease, making them excellent for close combat attacks. Bullet string. Doflamingo can shoot his strings like bullets, turning them into projectile attacks that are fast and precise, effective for mid-range combat. Overheat. This technique involves extending a thick string and whipping it forward with incredible force. When extended, the string heats up due to the friction, creating a white-hot whip capable of slicing through buildings and ships alike. Healing. Doflamingo can stitch his own body together using his strings, allowing him to close up wounds and continue fighting even after taking significant damage. As an advanced user of the Ito no Mi, Doflamingo has unlocked his Devil Fruit Awakening, which enhances his string powers significantly. With this awakened state, he can turn his surroundings into strings, allowing him to manipulate the very environment as a weapon. Awakened strings. Doflamingo's awakening lets him transform non-living objects, like buildings and the ground, into strings that he can control. This ability lets him create massive waves of strings, flooding an entire area and overwhelming his opponents. Everwhite. Doflamingo uses his awakened powers to create a flood of strings, transforming everything around him into a white field of strings. This allows him to trap and attack his enemies on a large scale, making it very difficult to escape. Break White. By condensing large amounts of strings into a single mass, Doflamingo can create a powerful offensive structure, such as a giant spider web-like structure that can entrap or cut through almost anything within range. God Thread. A finishing move where Doflamingo summons 16 hardened strings that he launches at his opponent simultaneously. This attack is devastating and nearly impossible to avoid due to the sheer number and sharpness of the strings. Unique abilities and notable traits. Aside from combat, Doflamingo's strings give him additional unique abilities. Skywalk, flight. By attaching his strings to clouds, Doflamingo can move through the air as though he's flying. This maneuverability gives him an advantage in battle and makes him exceptionally hard to hit. Self-defense. Doflamingo can use his strings to create defensive structures, like walls or shields, to block or deflect attacks. The Ito no Mi's versatility, paired with Doflamingo's strategic mind, makes him one of the most dangerous figures in One Piece. Charlotte Katakuri possesses the Mochi-Mochi no Mi, a special paramecia-type devil fruit that gives him the ability to create, control, and transform into mochi, a sticky and highly pliable rice paste. Katakuri has mastered this fruit to an exceptional degree, making him a formidable fighter with a unique set of versatile abilities. Unlike many devil fruit users, he combines his powers with his highly advanced Kenbunshoku haki, observation haki, allowing him to foresee his opponent's moves and enhance his combat efficiency. Abilities of the Mochi-Mochi transformation and control. Katakuri can turn his body into mochi, allowing him to reshape his body in various ways to avoid attacks or launch counterattacks. This ability is similar to a Logia fruit, as he can become intangible and reform, though it technically remains a paramecia. Mochi construction. Katakuri can produce mochi from his body, letting him create large structures and weapons on the fly. He often uses this to form massive fists or tendrils, which he can use to strike or restrain his enemies. Muscle Mochi. Katakuri can harden and compress his mochi to increase its density and power. This move allows him to create stronger punches and attacks, maximizing his offensive potential. The hardened mochi becomes as tough as armor, making it a reliable method for both offense and defense. Sticky Trap. The mochi's natural stickiness can immobilize opponents, binding them in place or trapping their weapons. This stickiness also gives him control in close combat, as he can stick to opponents to control their movements or land difficult hits. Flowing Mochi. Katakuri can make his mochi flow and stretch, giving him extended reach and flexibility in combat. He can launch attacks from unexpected angles or stretch his limbs to reach distant targets, giving him significant battlefield control. Special Techniques. Katakuri has a set of unique techniques with the Mochi-Mochi no Mi, Buzz Cut Mochi. Katakuri creates a massive fist out of hardened mochi, which he then spins at high speeds to create a drilling punch. This technique is highly destructive, allowing him to smash through even the toughest defenses. Power Mochi. Katakuri produces large fists or tendrils from mochi, hardens them, and repeatedly punches his opponents with incredible force and speed. Each strike is powerful enough to create shockwaves and destroy solid objects. Block Mochi. Katakuri compresses and hardens his mochi to create tough shields and barriers, useful for blocking high-power attacks. Mochi Thrust. He forms a long spear-like shape with his mochi, giving him a piercing attack that can be used from a distance. This attack is highly effective for surprising or finishing opponents who believe they are out of reach. Awakening and Advanced Techniques. Katakuri has awakened his devil fruit powers, allowing him to transform his environment into mochi and control it freely. His awakened abilities include Environment Mochi. Katakuri can turn surrounding surfaces like the ground and walls into mochi. This gives him a home field advantage, as he can create massive waves or structures of mochi to control the battlefield. Rolling Mochi. By turning the environment into mochi, Katakuri can create massive waves or columns of mochi that overwhelm his opponents, giving him immense offensive and defensive power over a large area. Observation. Haki Mastery. Katakuri's exceptional Kenbunshoku Haki, observation haki, is a crucial part of his fighting style, allowing him to see a few seconds into the future. This foresight lets him predict his opponent's moves, making him almost untouchable in battle. He can use his haki to dodge or counterattack with precision, maximizing his devil fruit's capabilities. Rob Lucci, a member of CP0, possesses the Neko no Mi model Leopard, a Zoan-type devil fruit that allows him to transform into a leopard or a hybrid human-leopard form. This devil fruit grants him superhuman strength, speed, and agility, enhancing his already formidable combat abilities as a martial artist and Rokushiki 6 powers master. Abilities of the Neko no Mi full beast transformation. Lucci can fully transform into a large, powerful leopard. In this form, his speed, strength, and agility are drastically increased, allowing him to move with incredible swiftness and deliver devastating blows. The leopard form also enhances his senses, making him more aware of his surroundings and his enemies. Hybrid transformation. Lucci's hybrid form combines the traits of both human and leopard, giving him the muscular physique, claws, and agility of a leopard while retaining his intelligence and martial skills. This form provides a balanced blend of power and speed, making it ideal for close-quarters combat. Enhanced physical abilities. As a Zoan type, the Neko no Mi grants Lucci enhanced physical stats beyond what humans are capable of, including incredible speed. Lucci's speed is heightened, allowing him to outmaneuver most opponents and deliver rapid, powerful attacks. Enhanced strength. His strength is increased dramatically, enabling him to overpower enemies with raw force and shatter obstacles in his path. Improved endurance and recovery. Zoan fruits grant users greater resilience and faster recovery rates, allowing Lucci to endure injuries and recover from fatigue more quickly than typical humans. Awakening potential. While Lucci's Zoan Devil Fruit Awakening hasn't been fully explored yet in One Piece, awakened Zoan users typically gain even greater physical resilience, speed, and recovery rates. Awakened Zoan transformations often involve a larger and more intimidating beast form with even more amplified physical abilities. The Awakened Impel Down. Jailer beasts are a group of incredibly powerful Zoan-type devil fruit users tasked with guarding the prisoners of Impel Down, the infamous underwater prison in the One Piece world. These creatures are notable not just for their strength, but for having achieved the rare state of Zoan awakening, which enhances their already formidable powers. Zoan-type devil fruits grant their users the ability to transform into an animal or a hybrid between their human and animal forms. These transformations grant increased physical abilities, such as strength, speed, and durability, depending on the animal. When a Zoan user achieves an awakened state, their powers evolve even further. Zoan awakenings provide superhuman physical strength, far surpassing that of non-awakened Zoan users. Incredible endurance. They can fight for long periods without tiring. Increased durability. Their bodies become highly resistant to damage. Rapid regeneration. They can recover from injuries far faster than most beings, even after sustaining significant harm. In the case of the jailer beasts, these awakened traits make them incredibly durable, relentless, and difficult to incapacitate. Their regenerative abilities allow them to heal from even severe wounds, allowing them to rise repeatedly in battle. This regenerative trait sets them apart from regular Zoan users. The Impel Down Jailer beasts. There are 5 key jailer beasts in Impel Down, all of whom have consumed Zoan-type devil fruits and reached the awakened state. They are stationed in the deeper, more dangerous levels of the prison and serve as powerful enforcers against prisoners attempting to escape. For much of One Piece, Monkey D. Luffy's devil fruit was believed to be the Gomu Gomu no Mi, a paramecia-type fruit that gave him a rubber body. With this fruit, Luffy's body gains all the elastic properties of rubber, making him immune to blunt force and allowing him to stretch his limbs and body in creative and powerful ways. However, in the Wano arc, it was revealed that Luffy's fruit is actually the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika, a mythical Zoan type that grants the user both rubber-like abilities and the powers of the legendary sun god Nika. Abilities of the Hito Hito no Mi. Rubber body. Luffy's primary power is elasticity. His body can stretch, expand, and rebound, making him highly resilient. This elasticity allows him to extend his limbs great distances, enhancing his range and attack options, and protects him from most blunt force attacks. Enhanced creativity and freedom. With the power of the sun god Nika, Luffy's imagination influences his fighting style. He can create bizarre, cartoonish attacks and freely reshape his body in ways limited only by his creativity, adding an unpredictable and playful quality to his combat. Resistance to electricity and blunt force. Luffy's rubber body makes him immune to electricity and resistant to blunt force. He can withstand attacks that would severely injure others, giving him an advantage against Logia-type users like Enel, who relies on electricity. Absorption of shockwaves. Luffy's rubber body can absorb shockwaves, allowing him to withstand powerful impacts, including cannonballs and large-scale punches. Gear techniques. Luffy has developed unique transformation states, called gears, each enhancing his powers in different ways. Gear second. Luffy increases his blood flow, enhancing his speed, reflexes, and attack power. His body releases steam as his blood pumps rapidly, giving his attacks explosive power. Gear third. Luffy inflates his bones, turning his limbs into giant-sized versions, allowing him to unleash powerful, oversized punches and kicks. He often combines this with armament haki to increase its power. Gear fourth. Luffy combines his elasticity with haki, creating several forms within Gear fourth. Boundman. Luffy gains enhanced mobility and power, bouncing continuously and releasing devastating punches that stretch and rebound unpredictably. Tankman. A bulkier form that emphasizes defense and raw power, effective for powerful close-range strikes. Snake Man, a slimmer, faster form allowing Luffy's punches to change direction mid-air, making them difficult to dodge. Gear 5th, Awakening. Gear 5th is Luffy's awakened state, unlocking the full potential of the Hito Hito no Mi. In this form, Luffy embodies the sun god Nika, and his rubber powers are amplified with mythical abilities. Cartoonish abilities. Luffy gains a cartoon physics effect, enabling him to stretch and reshape his body in impossible, exaggerated ways, like turning his fists into enormous forms or contorting his body to absorb attacks. Environmental influence. Luffy's awakened powers allow him to extend his rubber-like properties to his surroundings, turning nearby objects or even the ground into rubber, giving him immense control over the battlefield. Increased durability and power. Gear 5th boosts his strength, endurance, and agility, making him a powerhouse with unpredictable, playful attacks that overwhelm opponents with sheer force and unpredictability. The sun god Nika, a legendary figure associated with freedom and liberation. This fruit is known as the Warrior of Liberation, and it has the power to bring joy and freedom to others, symbolizing Luffy's character as a liberator of oppressed people throughout his journey. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and don't forget about the bell so you don't miss new videos.